In Hollywood, fame and beauty often go hand in hand, but for some black celebrities, the pursuit of perfection came at an unexpected price. From chart-topping singers to reality TV royalty, these stars made bold decisions to alter their appearance, only to find their careers shifting in ways no one saw coming. Here's a closer look at the cosmetic surgeries that changed not just their looks, but their legacies.
Lil Mo.
Lil Mo's powerhouse voice and fearless spirit made her a defining force in early 2000s R&B. With anthems like Superwoman PT2 and Forever, she didn't just sing, she soared, becoming a symbol of strength, sass and soul. Unapologetically outspoken, Lil Mo was never one to bite her tongue, whether on stage or in the spotlight. But over time, the conversation began to shift, not from her music, but to her appearance. As fans and media noticed changes in her look, her decision to undergo multiple facial procedures sparked mixed reactions. Some admired her new image, embracing it as part of her evolution. Others, however, mourned the transformation, feeling it masked the familiar face they had grown to love. The focus slowly turned from her unmistakable voice to debates about aesthetics, and for many, the music that once defined her started fading into the background. Yet for Lil Mo, these choices were personal, reflecting her journey, her growth, and her fight to navigate the harsh beauty standards of an industry that rarely shows mercy, especially to black women. In a world where appearance can outweigh artistry, Lil Mo carried that burden with remarkable grit. Through it all, she's remained raw and real. On social media, she pulls back the curtain on her life. The triumphs, the struggles, the scars, and her fans stay with her, not just for the hits, but for the honesty. Because no matter how much she's changed on the outside, one thing remains constant: her impact. Lil Mo's legacy isn't just about the songs she sang, it's about the resilience she embodies. The voice may have drawn us in, but the woman behind it is what keeps us listening.
Tiny Harris.
Tiny Harris, the soulful voice behind Xscape's 90s R&B hits like Just Kickin' It and Understanding, was more than just a singer, she was a presence. Her journey through the entertainment world expanded beyond music, especially when she became known as the wife of rapper T.I., forming one of hip-hop's most talked-about power couples. But while her talent and warmth made her beloved by fans, Tiny sparked headlines for a bold and unexpected personal decision, changing her natural brown eyes to an icy, unnatural blue. The transformation stunned the public. In a world where authenticity is often celebrated, Tiny's new look became a lightning rod for controversy. She explained it simply: it was a personal choice, something she had always wanted to do to feel more unique. But the reaction was anything but simple. Fans voiced concern, not only about the medical risks of such a procedure, but also about what it meant for someone whose natural beauty had once symbolized confidence and identity in the black community.
Tiny stood firm. She knew the risks, she said.
She made the decision with open eyes, literally and metaphorically. But still, the conversation shifted. Her eye color began to overshadow her accomplishments. Suddenly, people weren't talking about her music, her vocals, or her influence. They were talking about her appearance. For some, the change felt like a loss of the Tiny they once knew. The woman who radiated authenticity now seemed caught in the spotlight for reasons far from her artistry. Yet, even amid criticism, Tiny never backed down. She owned her decision, unapologetically. She reminded the world that she was more than a headline. She was a woman who made bold choices and stood by them. Today, Tiny remains a force, on reality TV, in music, and in life. Her resilience and refusal to conform prove that self-expression isn't always easy, but it's powerful. In a world quick to judge, she continues to chart her own path. And that, perhaps more than any eye color, is what truly sets her apart.
Kanye West.
Kanye West, one of the most groundbreaking forces in modern hip-hop, redefined music with albums like The College Dropout and Graduation. Fearless in both sound and style, he built his legacy on boldness, creativity, and an unwavering belief in himself. But beneath the bravado and designer shades lies a man not immune to the weight of public judgment. In a shocking revelation that caught fans and critics off guard, Kanye admitted to undergoing liposuction, not for vanity, but to avoid the brutal criticism he feared would come with gaining weight. It was a confession that peeled back the layers of the superstar's seemingly impenetrable confidence. The man who preached self-love and individuality was, like so many, battling insecurities behind closed doors. Kanye explained that the surgery wasn't about looking better, it was about escaping ridicule. He feared becoming the next target of internet jabs and tabloid headlines. That moment of raw honesty revealed a side of Kanye rarely seen: vulnerable, human, and painfully aware of the pressures that fame can place on a person. His openness sparked a national conversation. Some criticized the decision, but many more saw it as a rare glimpse into the emotional toll of celebrity life. It reminded the world that no amount of success or swagger can fully shield someone from the crushing expectations of fame. Instead of weakening his image, Kanye's revelation added depth. It showed that even icons wrestle with the same self-doubt as the rest of us. And in that honesty, there was strength, not in the perfection he projected, but in the courage it took to admit he wasn't invincible. Kanye's journey is far from over. But his willingness to show his cracks proves that growth and greatness aren't opposites. They walk hand in hand.
Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj isn't just a rapper, she's a cultural force. With her explosive lyrics, electric flow, and larger-than-life presence, Nicki stormed into hip-hop and refused to play by anyone else's rules. From the infectious bounce of super bass to the audacious swagger of Anaconda, she carved out her own lane and made sure the world took notice. But alongside her chart-topping hits and lyrical prowess, her image, especially her signature curves, became just as iconic, igniting endless debates and fascination. Over the years, Nicki's physical transformation has drawn both admiration and criticism, sparking a wider conversation about beauty, power, and ownership in the spotlight. For some, her look is a celebration of confidence and self-expression. For others, it's a lightning rod for scrutiny. But through it all, Nicki has stayed silent on the speculation, letting her presence speak volumes. Her unapologetic embrace of her body isn't just about aesthetics, it's a declaration of identity, of control, of resilience. In a world where black women in entertainment are often judged more for how they look than what they do, Nicki's journey exposes the double standards that still run deep. Too often, the conversation about her figure has drowned out her groundbreaking achievements. Record-breaking albums, sold-out tours, and a legacy that redefined the possibilities for women in rap. But Nicki Minaj has never been one to shrink beneath the spotlight. She owns it. And with every verse, every bold outfit, every unapologetic move, she reminds us that confidence isn't just skin-deep, it's the power to define yourself on your own terms. Behind the glam and the headlines stands a woman who built her empire brick by brick, and she's still just getting started.
Nene Leakes.
Nene Leakes didn't just appear on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, she owned it. With her sharp wit, magnetic presence, and iconic one-liners, she quickly became a standout star, transforming from reality TV newcomer to pop culture phenomenon. But behind the bold catchphrases and infectious laugh was a woman unafraid to evolve in front of millions. Nene has always been open about her journey with cosmetic surgery, candidly discussing multiple nose jobs and facelifts, not out of vanity, but as part of her pursuit to feel empowered in her own skin. Her honesty struck a chord. In a world where most celebrities dodge questions about their appearance, Nene's transparency sparked meaningful conversations about beauty standards, especially for black women constantly navigating impossible expectations. While many applauded her fearlessness and raw openness, others began to focus less on her charisma and more on her changing looks. Critics questioned whether her physical transformation was overshadowing the very personality that had once made her a household name. Still, Nene never flinched. She met the criticism with the same unfiltered confidence that first won over her fans, reminding the world that reinvention is a personal choice, not a public debate. Through all the praise and pushback, Nene Leakes remained unapologetically herself, a woman rewriting the rules of beauty, fame, and self-expression on her own terms.
Hazel E.
Hazel E., best known for her fiery presence on Love and Hip Hop, didn't just turn heads, she sparked conversations. With a bold personality and a budding rap career, she quickly became one of the show's most talked about stars. But it wasn't just her music or reality TV drama that captured attention, it was her raw honesty. Unlike many in the spotlight, Hazel E. pulled back the curtain on her plastic surgery journey, turning what's often kept private into a central part of her public narrative. From nose reshaping to facial enhancements, she openly documented each procedure, making her one of the most vulnerable and polarizing figures on the show. Her willingness to lay it all bare struck a chord with some viewers, who praised her transparency and bravery in an industry built on illusion. But not everyone was impressed. As her appearance continued to evolve, critics questioned whether the focus on her looks was beginning to overshadow her talents. Conversations once centered on her music and storylines gradually shifted toward her transformations, with even castmates weighing in on the controversy. Still, Hazel E. never backed down. She stood firm in her truth, owning her decisions in a world quick to judge. Love her or hate her, she made one thing clear: her body, her journey, her rules. And in doing so, she reminded everyone watching that vulnerability takes strength, and that being unapologetically yourself is a kind of power all its own.
Kia.
Kia burst onto the scene in the early 2000s like a thunderclap, turning heads and raising eyebrows with her unapologetic hit My Neck, My Back. The song's provocative lyrics and infectious beat made it an instant anthem, and Kia's bold attitude and raw delivery set her apart from the polished pop stars of the time. She wasn't trying to please anyone, she was just being herself. That fearless authenticity resonated with fans who saw her as a voice for self-expression, rebellion, and realness. But as the years rolled on, Kia made a decision that caught everyone off guard. She underwent plastic surgery. And suddenly, the spotlight shifted. Conversations that once celebrated her music and fearless energy started revolving around her changing face. The woman who once defied industry beauty standards now appeared to be conforming to them, and for many longtime fans, the transformation felt like a betrayal of the Kia they once admired. What was once praised as raw and real now faced whispers of what happened. Across social media and blogs, her signature confidence, once defined by her natural presence, was now questioned through the lens of appearance. The same industry that couldn't ignore her voice now seemed fixated on her looks. And in that shift, some of the magic that made Kia unforgettable began to fade. Her physical transformation sparked debate. Was it personal evolution or pressure to fit in? Either way, it marked a turning point. The firebrand who once owned her truth without apology became a subject of scrutiny rather than celebration. And for many fans, it wasn't just her appearance that changed, it was the way they saw her place in the world of music. Tamar Braxton. Tamar Braxton isn't just known for her powerhouse vocals. She's a firecracker of personality, a reality TV standout, and a force in her own right. As the youngest sister of R&B legend Toni Braxton, Tamar carved her own path with hit music and unforgettable moments on shows like Braxton Family Values and Tamar and Vince. Her bold presence and undeniable talent made her a fan favorite. But fame, especially for women in the spotlight, doesn't come without a price. As Tamar's star rose, so did the pressure to look a certain way. Over time, she made the personal decision to undergo cosmetic procedures, perhaps to feel more confident in an industry obsessed with youth and perfection. Yet, these changes sparked public debate. Some longtime fans felt disconnected, saying the transformation overshadowed the real Tamar, the raw, relatable woman they first fell in love with. The focus began shifting from her voice and charisma to her evolving appearance. Conversations that once centered on her music now swirled around speculation and judgment. Even so, Tamar pressed on. She stayed active in entertainment, continuing to share her talents. But her journey revealed something deeper, the harsh spotlight that scrutinizes women for changing, and for not changing. Tamar Braxton's story is more than fame or beauty. It's about resilience in a world quick to praise, quicker to criticize, and slow to understand. Through it all, Tamar remains a voice not just in music, but in the larger conversation about identity, self-worth, and the toll of living life on display.
Sandra Denton.
Sandra Denton, known to millions as Peppa from the groundbreaking hip-hop group Salt-N-Pepa, wasn't just a performer, she was a revolution. With chart-topping anthems like Push It and What a Man, Peppa helped shape the sound and style of female hip-hop, kicking down doors with unapologetic lyrics, bold fashion, and fearless energy. She wasn't just making music, she was making space for women to be loud, proud, and powerful in a male-dominated industry. But as the years passed, Peppa made headlines not for her legacy, but for her looks. A series of dramatic plastic surgeries altered her appearance, drawing public scrutiny and sparking heated debates across social media and talk shows. Fans who once saw her as a symbol of authenticity and strength now found themselves distracted, even heartbroken, by a face that no longer resembled the Peppa they grew up admiring. Her classic image, iconic hoop earrings, bold attitude, and unmistakable confidence, began to fade beneath the spotlight of speculation. And while the music still played, the conversation shifted from her voice to her vanity. Many questioned whether her legacy was being rewritten not by time, but by transformation. Yet through it all, Peppa remains a legend. Her journey is a powerful reflection of the harsh realities women in entertainment face, where aging is taboo, image often outweighs impact, and the pressure to remain relevant can cloud the very brilliance that made them stars in the first place. Still, Peppa's influence can't be erased by surgeries or opinions. She broke barriers, redefined hip-hop, and inspired generations. And no matter how her face may change, her legacy stands strong.
Blac Chyna.
Blac Chyna first burst onto the scene as a striking model and video vixen, turning heads with her daring fashion and high-profile romances. But she wasn't just a pretty face, beneath the glam was a sharp business mind. She turned her fame into fortune, launching a successful cosmetics line and opening her own beauty salon, proving she had the hustle of a true entrepreneur. Yet as her star continued to rise, so did public fascination with her evolving appearance. Multiple surgeries, breast augmentations and other dramatic enhancements began to reshape more than just her face, they started to reshape her narrative. Instead of applauding her business savvy, headlines zeroed in on her transformations. The conversation shifted, from her brand to her body. Fans and media couldn't stop comparing the then and now, and gradually, the image of a bold businesswoman was eclipsed by that of a plastic surgery spectacle. Blac Chyna, once celebrated for building an empire from the ground up, became a central figure in the growing debate over cosmetic enhancement and identity in the spotlight. Still, her presence remains powerful. Her journey is a reminder that in the world of fame, reinvention can be empowering, but it can also blur the lines between personal choice and public perception.
Keyshia Cole.
Keyshia Cole carved her name into R&B history with a voice full of soul and lyrics that cut straight to the heart. Her songs about love, loss, and survival struck a deep chord with fans, not just because they were beautiful, but because they were real. But as her star rose, so did the spotlight on something else: her appearance. Her enhanced curves and bold style drew just as much attention as her music, igniting debates across social media and tabloids. Some celebrated her confidence, while others unfairly reduced her to just a body, blurring the brilliance of her artistry. At times, it felt like the conversation had shifted away from her voice and toward her silhouette. Yet through all the noise, Keyshia never lost sight of who she was. She let the music speak louder than the gossip, proving again and again that her worth isn't measured by public opinion, but by her raw talent and unwavering heart. Her journey is a testament to the battles artists face between authenticity and appearance, and how true strength is staying rooted in your gift. In the end, Keyshia Cole remains more than a headline. She's a voice that refuses to be silenced. Michelle Williams. Michelle Williams first captivated the world as one-third of Destiny's Child, lending her soulful voice to anthems like Survivor and Say My Name. But as she stepped into the spotlight with her solo career, the focus slowly shifted, from her powerful vocals to whispers about her changing appearance. In a world where image often overshadows substance, Michelle found herself at the center of speculation about cosmetic enhancements, despite her preference for privacy. The constant chatter risked drowning out her artistry and the quiet strength behind her every performance. Yet through it all, Michelle never lost sight of who she was. Instead of clapping back at the rumors, she turned the spotlight inward, opening up about mental health, self-worth, and the pressure of public perception. Her message was clear: beauty isn't measured by rumors or reflections, but by resilience, purpose, and faith. Michelle's evolution wasn't just physical, it was spiritual. She continued to create, inspire, and advocate, standing as a reminder that in an industry obsessed with surface, it's authenticity that truly endures.
Kenya Moore.
Kenya Moore, best known for lighting up the screen on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, first captured America's attention as the stunning Miss USA. But Kenya is more than just a beauty queen or a reality TV star. She's a woman who's dared to live her truth in front of the world. With a bold mix of glamour and vulnerability, she's openly discussed her cosmetic enhancements, sparking honest conversations about beauty, identity, and self-worth. In a world where appearances are constantly scrutinized, Kenya's transparency has drawn both praise and debate. Some applaud her for keeping it real, while others question if the Kenya they fell in love with is still there beneath the surface. But through it all, Kenya has never wavered in her belief that confidence isn't about pleasing others, it's about owning your choices. Her journey reveals a deeper truth that so many women, especially in the public eye, face: the delicate dance between authenticity and society's relentless standards. Yet, Kenya continues to shine with the same fiery spirit that made her a household name, reminding us all that beauty begins with self-acceptance, and the real glow comes from within.
Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson, global icon, pop visionary, and proud member of the legendary Jackson dynasty, didn't just ride the coattails of fame. She carved out her own legacy with groundbreaking hits like Rhythm Nation, Together Again, and That's the Way Love Goes. A powerhouse singer, dancer, and performer, Janet redefined what it meant to be a woman in control on the global stage. But as the spotlight followed her through the decades, so did the microscope. Unlike many in Hollywood, Janet's transformation was never loud or flashy. Her changes were subtle, personal, yet even the most delicate shift in her appearance ignited public conversation. Whispers about her nose, her cheeks, her jawline began to swirl, sometimes drowning out the music that made her a legend. For someone of Janet's stature, walking the line between personal choice and public expectation became its own performance. Fans, fascinated and protective, watched every detail, supportive yet curious, celebratory yet speculative. And as with so many stars, the world often focused more on her face than on her fearless artistry. Still, through the noise and relentless scrutiny, Janet stood tall. She reminded us that real greatness can't be measured in looks or gossip, but in legacy. Despite decades of speculation, Janet Jackson remains one of the most influential and revered artists in music history. Her voice, her vision, her vulnerability, they all speak louder than any tabloid ever could. And while her appearance may change with time, her impact never will.
Selena Johnson.
Selena Johnson, the powerhouse R&B vocalist known for her rich, soul-stirring voice and raw, heartfelt lyrics, carved her place in music with anthems like Guess What and I Am Your Woman. Her ability to blend vulnerability with strength made her a beacon for fans navigating love, heartbreak, and self-discovery. But behind the music, Selena's journey was marked by battles not just with the industry, but with herself. For years, she struggled quietly with body image, facing the unrelenting pressure to fit into an ever-changing mold of beauty defined by the entertainment world. In a moment of vulnerability, she turned to body sculpting procedures, hoping to gain the confidence she felt fame demanded. Yet, after the changes, what followed wasn't just a new look, it was a wave of emotional turmoil. Selena later admitted she felt conflicted, even regretful. The transformation made her question why she ever believed she had to change in the first place. Why was being herself not enough? Looking back, she realized how deeply ingrained those unrealistic beauty standards were, especially for women in the spotlight. And instead of staying silent, she chose to speak out. Today, Selena uses her voice not just to sing, but to empower. She's become an advocate for body positivity and self-love, reminding women everywhere that true beauty comes from authenticity, not conformity. Her journey isn't just about physical transformation, it's about emotional awakening. Through her openness, Selena Johnson continues to inspire, proving that the most powerful statement a woman can make is to embrace who she truly is.
Toni Braxton.
Toni Braxton, a voice that defined a generation of R&B, rose to superstardom in the 1990s, enchanting the world with timeless ballads like Unbreak My Heart and Breathe Again. Her rich, sultry vocals and heartfelt lyrics cemented her as one of the best-selling female artists of her era. Toni wasn't just a singer, she was a feeling. Her performances carried raw emotion, and her natural beauty became part of the mystique that made her the beloved R&B icon fans couldn't forget. But as the years passed, whispers began to swirl. Subtle changes in her appearance sparked speculation. Had she turned to cosmetic procedures? Toni never publicly confirmed anything, but the noticeable transformation became a recurring topic in headlines and fan conversations alike. For some who adored her original look, it felt like a loss of something familiar, something that once made her feel so real, so grounded. Others, however, saw it differently. They defended her right to evolve, to make choices in response to the crushing expectations of an industry obsessed with youth and perfection. After all, fame doesn't come without a price, especially for Black women in entertainment, who are constantly under the microscope. In a world where beauty often overshadows brilliance, Toni's experience mirrors a deeper struggle, the tension between staying true to oneself and surviving in a spotlight that rarely shows mercy. Toni Braxton's journey is more than a story of stardom, it's a reflection of the quiet battles so many women face behind the glitz. And while fans may debate changes in her appearance, one truth remains untouched: her voice, her impact, and her legacy still echo through every note she's ever sung.
Vivica A. Fox.
Vivica A. Fox, the powerhouse behind unforgettable roles in Independence Day, Set It Off and Kill Bill, carved her name into Hollywood history with fierce charisma, stunning beauty, and undeniable talent. For decades, she lit up screens with strength and elegance, becoming a symbol of resilience in a tough industry. But beneath the spotlight and red carpets, Vivica, like so many in Hollywood, found herself wrestling with impossible beauty standards and the pressure to look forever young. In an effort to preserve her vibrant appearance, Vivica turned to cosmetic surgery, hoping the enhancements would keep her radiant glow intact. But instead of applause, the results stirred mixed emotions. Some fans noticed the changes and mourned the fading of her natural beauty. Others openly expressed disappointment, feeling the conversation was shifting from her acting brilliance to her evolving appearance. Vivica would later admit to having some regrets, candidly acknowledging that the focus on her looks had, at times, eclipsed the very essence of her craft. In a world where a single wrinkle or shift in appearance can spark public debate, maintaining a personal sense of self becomes a daily battle. Her story isn't just about one woman's choices, it's about the harsh glare of an industry that often values appearance as much as, if not more than, talent. Yet through it all, Vivica remains unshaken. She continues to work, shine, and inspire, reminding the world that true beauty lies in owning your journey, not erasing it. Her courage, honesty, and passion prove that while Hollywood may obsess over image, the heart of a true star will always outshine the surface.
K. Michelle.
K. Michelle, with her powerhouse vocals and magnetic personality, didn't just make music, she made waves. With chart toppers like Can't Raise a Man and VSOP, she carved out her own space in the industry, blending raw talent with real-life vulnerability. Her time on Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta only deepened fans' connection to her. She didn't just perform, she shared, laying bare the highs and lows of her journey. That honesty earned her more than fame, it earned her loyalty. But behind the spotlight, Michelle faced a deeply personal battle, one that started with a choice so many in the public eye are pushed to consider: cosmetic surgery. At the height of her success, she chose to get buttock implants, hoping to enhance her image in an industry obsessed with perfection. At first, the results seemed empowering. She felt confident, camera-ready, and aligned with the beauty standards dominating pop culture. But what began as a boost quickly became a burden. The implants caused her excruciating pain and life-altering health issues. What was meant to enhance her body ended up threatening her well-being. Instead of staying silent, Michelle did the unthinkable. She told the truth. She had the implants removed and spoke out about the devastating effects they had on her health, using her platform to warn others of the hidden dangers beneath the glamour. Her decision wasn't just brave, it was revolutionary. In a world that often tells women, especially black women, that they must look a certain way to be seen or celebrated, Michelle stood up and said enough. Her story became more than a cautionary tale, it became a symbol of reclaiming self-worth. Michelle's journey is a powerful reminder: beauty fades, but authenticity heals. And the most inspiring transformation is the one that puts health, happiness, and truth first.
LaToya Jackson.
LaToya Jackson, a striking figure in one of the most famous families in music history, was born into the spotlight. With siblings like Michael and Janet, the glare of public attention was unavoidable. In the 1980s, she carved her own path in entertainment, making waves with her music, television appearances, and unmistakable boldness. But as the years passed, the conversation around LaToya shifted, from her talent and ambition to the ever-changing contours of her face. What once drew admiration soon became tabloid obsession. Her evolving appearance, particularly the dramatic changes to her nose, sparked comparisons to Michael and endless speculation. Was it fame's unforgiving beauty standards? The pressure of growing up a Jackson? Or a personal journey misunderstood by the masses? Regardless, the public's fixation on her looks began to overshadow her voice, her work, and her identity. Instead of being celebrated for her artistry, LaToya found herself dissected in headlines and comment sections. Every new photo sparked a fresh round of rumors. Her efforts to stand out as her own person were often reduced to whispers about surgeries, drowning out her contributions as a performer. What she gave the world, her music, her presence, her resilience, was often eclipsed by shallow curiosity. LaToya's story is more than a tale of transformation, it's a reflection of how fame can blur the lines between image and identity. Still, through every twist in public perception, she's endured with quiet strength. Her legacy may be complicated, but it's marked by the courage to be seen, even when misunderstood, and the determination to keep going, even when the world keeps looking for something else.
Lil' Kim.
Lil' Kim, the undeniable queen bee of rap, blazed her way into hip-hop royalty in the late 90s and early 2000s with bold hits like Crush on You and No Time. With razor-sharp lyrics, jaw-dropping style, and a fearless attitude, she shattered barriers for women in a male-dominated industry. But as her fame soared, so did public scrutiny, not of her music, but of her appearance. Over the years, fans and critics alike noticed dramatic changes in her look, sparking headlines that often drowned out her artistry. Lil' Kim has been candid about undergoing plastic surgery, including nose jobs and cheek fillers, and rumors of skin lightening only fueled the fire. But behind those choices was a deeper pain: the weight of beauty standards, colorism, and the relentless pressure to conform. In interviews, she's bravely opened up about her struggles with self-worth, revealing how years of societal judgment and rejection chipped away at her confidence. Instead of celebrating her trailblazing influence, the media turned her transformation into tabloid fodder. Her face was picked apart on talk shows, dragged across social media, and used as clickbait. Yet few paused to ask why, or how that pressure affects black women in the spotlight. Through it all, Lil' Kim stood her ground, proving that her story is about more than appearance. It's about survival, self-expression, and the complicated path of reclaiming identity in a world obsessed with image. Her evolution tells a bigger truth: even icons bleed. And in sharing her most vulnerable battles, Lil' Kim adds another layer to her legacy. Not just as a hip-hop pioneer, but as a woman who dared to be seen, scars and all. And that's a wrap for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, drop a comment, and share it with someone who'd love it too. Your support keeps me going and helps me bring you even more stories. Thanks so much for watching.